Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Charlton Live, sponsored by PSF Steel Limited. My name is Louis Mendes. Hope you guys are all well on your Easter Saturday morning. The Addicts yesterday sealing at least a top six place with a victory over Northampton Town that left everyone feeling absolutely delighted. We're going to look back at that game. Joining me to do that, first up top right, it's Joe Puddyfoot. How you doing, Joe?
Yeah, no, very good. Nice day yesterday. Pub was nice and busy, and can't wait to get my teeth into talking about yesterday's events.
Yeah, it's lots to chat about. Also joining us, bottom of the screen, the vast majority of Sue Gallop, minus one tooth. But yeah, how you doing, Sue? All right?
I nearly said a swear word then. Hi, yeah, hi.
Good to see you. Good to see that most of you are here with us on the show this morning. So on today's show, then we'll look back at yesterday's game against Northampton. We will analyse the race for the top two as well, because oh god, Wrexham dropped points yesterday, and so we're back in it a little bit again. We'll look at the potential outcomes between now and the end of the season. We're going to hear from the Addicts boss Nathan Jones. We're going to hear the goal. We're going to hear from Matty Godden, the scorer of the winning goal. And of course, we have to turn our attention to Easter Monday's trip to Wycombe as well. What a massive game that is for the Addicts. I want to hear your thoughts on yesterday's win as well. Spamfish, first one in the chat, says win all three games and let's see what happens. Would be nice to finish second, but after the run we've been on, beating Wrexham at Wembley would be God tier. Yeah, I guess that would be as well. Sam, our very own Sam's in there. Keith's in there. Paul's in there. Alan. Joseph, Dudley, Trim, Jeremy, Tom, Alex, let us know your thoughts on yesterday's win. Shiny Phil as well. How are you feeling now that the top six is secured as a minimum? It's like that game. It's like a game show where the top six is safe now. Do you want to gamble and go for the top two? That's where we are. Jim Bowen is egging us on to try and go for the top two now. Let us know your thoughts on yesterday's game. You can email us studio@charltonlive.co.uk. You can tweet us @CharltonLive, or you can add a live comment in the YouTube chat. Let us know how you're feeling after, as Paul's pointing out, I've lost my voice a little bit celebrating the goal, and Sue's lost her tooth. I don't know if Joe's all of his appendages are still there, but hopefully they are. Joe, just before we you can confirm that now, just before we hear the goals, difficult game yesterday, but 3 points, all that matters, full stop.
Sorry, it wouldn't come off mute there. I'll have a look at all my appendages are working apart from my mouse. Obviously, as eagle-eyed viewers will notice, my eyes aren't working quite as well as they were at the start of the season. But in case we're right, 3 points, all that matters. I think that yesterday, the early goal almost sort of shocked us into a false sense of security. And then when McIntyre had his moment of absolute madness, which he's very, very lucky to escape a red card for, in my opinion, we seemed to fall apart a little bit, which was a bit surprising, really. But they were a very different outfit to what we played, to start the season or in the winter. And they were, at it. I thought their 19 was absolutely sensational down on their left, and was causing us problems most of the time. Their striker looked a bit of a nuisance as well. So I think they do carry a threat, and they are definitely a better proposition than we would have faced last time. But at the end of the season, as Wrexham have been showing in general, you don't need to win pretty, you can win ugly. And as long as we keep picking up the points, then we'll all be happy. But having the likes of Berry and Godden in the team to take composed finishes like that is what separates you from the majority of teams at this level. And I think everyone left yesterday pretty chuffed. Annoying that Wrexham obviously got an equaliser, because that would have put it fully in our hands then at that point. But que sera, we'll continue on to Monday, hopefully pick up another 3 points, and then we'll see where we are heading into next weekend.
Oh, it's getting so exciting. Well, let's have a listen back to the goals from Charlton TV. Brownie was alongside Greg and Terry.
Touch from Godden, Small picks it up for Charlton, back out to Matty Godden on the right. Godden looks to swing the ball into the middle. Small is there. No, Berry with a shot. Oh, it's got in! Luke Berry opens the scoring for Charlton in the opening 8 minutes. Didn't wonder whether the ball had come back to Small for the cross. No, it was sent in to Berry, who drilled it home.
He's done it again. He's made a really difficult finish look quite simple. It's a clearance, and I thought at first it was a poor clearance, but actually you're clearing a really good ball in from Godden, and actually as a defender you're just trying to get something on it. If I had a critique of the clearance, your body shape's all wrong, you're facing your own goal for a start and you shouldn't be, but you try to wrap your left leg round it and it rebounds out to Berry, and he's made that volley look very, very simple. It's from 8, 9, 10 yards out, and he's got to direct it past and through 2 Northampton players and through a goalkeeper, and he does it with a prop. It's a brilliant goal from Berry. Charlton lead.
Jones with a stabbed clearance, back out to Fosu. Lifts the ball into the penalty area. It's a tricky one, it's a handball. McIntyre's handled that, and he's given the penalty to the referee.
Yeah, 100%. Well spotted from the ref, clear handball, and quite rightly pointed to the spot.
Costello up against Will Mannion in front of the Covenant. Referee organising the edge of the penalty area before he blows his whistle, and now he does. Costello steps up, hits it the other side of Mannion, and it's 1-1.
Yep, very well struck. I'm not even sure Mannion would have saved that if he'd gone the right way, but he didn't, and nevertheless Northampton are level.
Mannion drops the ball to the floor and clears it long. Bring Aniki the target. We'll get there as well. Little flick on into the path of Godden, into the area. Godden! Matty Godden finishes for Charlton and puts us back in front here. The golf swing will tell you everything. He's just got a hole in one.
That's a very important flick from Anike, and I love to see centre forwards taking a gamble. Godden went ahead earlier, no one took the risk in behind, and they just played it back to the keeper. On this occasion, Anike flicks, and Godden is off in between the 2 Northampton defenders. The ball falls very kindly on his right-hand side, and bang, that strikes straight underneath Berg, the Northampton keeper, and there's that opportunity that we were all hoping for between now and the end of the game, that one of the Charlton players took. He's just hit the bar moments ago with a wonderful header. This time you don't give Matty Godden 2 opportunities like that in 45 minutes, and he's taken this one. Charlton lead.
There we go, Godden again as the Addicts come out 2-1 winners against Northampton Town and seal a place in the playoffs at the very minimum. Sue, sum up your feelings when that final whistle went yesterday. Think about the journey we've been on this season. Think about where we were in December, where we are now. How did you feel?
I just felt an amazing sense of pride, because I think, like, I've not ever held back on my views that something special was going to happen under Nathan, and I think, yeah, it did look ropey, but I always had that belief that it would come, and but I mean, to have the crowd was unbelievable yesterday. And, you know, like in the past, we've done special offers with Kid for a Quid or Football for a Fiver and stuff. And it's kind of ended up being a bit of a wet blanket. But it was just so nice to have such a big crowd seeing, a tough performance, but a battling performance nonetheless. And then, yeah, that final whistle went, and we were just like, oh my God, it's done. So I'm still looking at second. I am still looking at second. I'm not giving up on that. I've said it before, until they tell us, like, it's impossible. I still feel like we could get second. But yeah, it's just, yeah, I'm just so proud of the work that everybody's done. We've all pulled together, the fan base pulled together, the ownership, like the club, Nathan, all his coaching staff, everyone. We're all pulling in the right direction. And I think yesterday was just the culmination of all of that hard work.
And there's still more to come, as you say. Nothing's over yet, even though every couple of weeks you're thinking, oh, there's just too much to do, but there is a path from here to us finishing second. I've got an Excel spreadsheet I will show you later on in the show that proves that. It's incredible. As Elliot says, Sue is the oracle. You saw this coming. Isaac said, I remember Sue said at the start of the season, a few games in, that she felt something good was going to happen this season, Joe. But anyone who lost belief, myself definitely included around Christmas time. I don't think you could argue with that opinion at that time. It's the turnaround that's the most amazing thing that's happened. Like the run that we've been on. I mean, even to get into playoffs, we would have had to do something pretty special from where we were. But to have a shout a second, like 3 defeats in 26 league games, is just unbelievable. It's an unbelievable record for us at this level, for any team at any level. That's a very, very good return. I mean, the turnaround that Nathan and the side have managed to do since Christmas is just like I don't think I've ever seen that from a Charlton side in the space of one season. I don't think I've ever seen a comeback quite like this.
No, and I think it's easy to sit here now and to say that you were wrong to not have faith, because there was a patch where he was 3 games away. He had over 11 games, the same run as Appleton had the season before. And we were calling for Appleton's head a long time before that last little run. So he was going toe-to-toe with what I would regard as probably one of the worst managers in Charlton history over an 11-game spell, right? So when you're looking at that, you are... And we hadn't been amazingly convincing at the start of the season. We've been effective, but not convincing. You are starting to think, oh, hang on, this is looking a little bit ropey. But if you're going to be in this line of work, you've got to take the rough with the smooth. And as fans, we live the highs very, very high, and we live the lows very, very low. So we are going to be very emotional about it. So, and Jones is very emotional himself. So I think that ultimately, everyone who didn't believe that we were going to make it was absolutely justified for looking at that, and everyone who thinks that the top 2 is possible and that we're going to go and smash the playoffs is absolutely justified in that. The thing is that what this does mean is we've had an amazing run this season, regardless of where we finish. And I think that our fitness and our ability to get around the park will serve us well in those final games. I think other teams are going to be really knackered after a League One campaign, and we're looking stronger and stronger as time goes on. We will be coming into next season with a lot of belief, as long as we can hold on to some of the key players from this season, because you've got the likes of Tyrese, who we all regard as a massive improvement this season. If he can start the season as he's ended this one next season, then he'll be tearing League One apart. Thierry Small, obviously, apart from his one moment yesterday where Nathan Jones was chasing him down the sideline trying to kick him into gear, has been very, very good in the second half of the season. So you're looking forward to a really positive summer, pretty much regardless of where it goes. But I do hope that we can get it over the line, because it would be nice to have a bit of a sabbatical away from this lowly, horrible division.
Yeah, just being on the edge of hopefully trying to get out of it would be lovely. That's what we need. Let's talk about the game itself yesterday. I mean, hats off to Northampton Town and hats off to Kevin Nolan, because we talk about our turnaround. I mean, to go from quite simply the worst team I've ever seen just before Christmas, obviously in a one-off game, but Kevin's clearly knocked them into some real shape, and they gave us a proper test. They didn't let us settle on the ball for a moment yesterday. But so we still beat them, and that's what we're about now. Like, so we've done the well done Northampton. That was good. You'll stay up playing like that, no problem. But we beat them. We are a team that can beat anyone at this moment in time, Sue, and that was the best thing about yesterday. I mean, the first goal was a nice move, and again, Northampton probably started the way they played the entire game. They're in our faces. It was difficult, and I was really relieved when I saw that first goal go in, because I thought, right, this will settle us down a little bit. But as Brownie said on the comms, it's another good finish from Berry. He's floating in and around that area. That's what he does. And I think that's 6 or 7 now in League One. That's not a bad return. Maybe, if I'm being greedy, maybe a couple more. But to be fair, like he's probably overall had a decent season since he's grown into it. After that sticky patch that we all had midway through the sort of first half of the campaign.
Yeah, and again, I'm a big fan of Luke Berry, and I know, I think the experience he brings to the side. Yeah, he's not got the legs that he used to have, but again, we've got such a young squad. We need people like Luke in the team, and he is a bit like Godden as well. And I think they possibly similar ages, that their vision and their awareness is so good. and to see him get that goal was amazing, because I think a few people sort of queried him being in the starting lineup as much as he has been, but I think yesterday just shows that he could drive it on. I'm not sure what the celebration was about. It's like Baby Shark or something, but yeah, I think that was the really pleasing thing yesterday. Again, I mean, we all love Matty Godden. Like, there's no getting away from how much we love him. He must be up for Player of the Year. But to have, I mean, Luke and Matty are like proper workhorses. They just don't stop. And to have them two scoring the goals that got us the win yesterday was just sort of like the cherry on top of the cake, really. But yeah, I'm still a bit like, I don't know what to say. It's that reality now that we've actually done it, even though I believed it was going to happen. It's like we're there, and we're closer to really being there.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because achieving playoffs is good, but now you're always going to say, "Oh, you know, we ain't won nothing yet." You know, if we finish as playoff losers this season, it'd be quite. It would still go down as an improvement, I guess. But yeah, we can't celebrate fully until we actually fully achieve something. I think that will be certainly the message within the squad, Joe. And we certainly couldn't celebrate fully what happened shortly after the goal. One of the stranger decisions I've ever seen from a Charlton defender, and I've seen some pretty strange ones over the years. Tom McIntyre's handball, as I said in the chat as we were listening back to the commentary, I mean, you know, it's a blatant penalty when even Terry said, "Oh, that's going to be a penalty against us there," and didn't argue about it or anything. It was a strange one, but I think it was Fosu's cross. I don't know what was going through Tom McIntyre's head, and I actually agree with Kevin Nolan's comments after the game that he probably should have been sent off as well, because how is that not denying a clear goal scoring opportunity? So maybe we got away with one there, but it was an unusual one there from Tom McIntyre. Like, what on earth was he thinking?
I mean, God knows. The only thing that I can think is they've been playing rush goalie all week in training, and he'd forgotten that it was actually game time. I agree. I said in our chat, didn't I, straight away, that he's very, very lucky to still be on the pitch. And he didn't even get booked, did he? So quite what on earth the referee was doing. I mean, I do think the ref yesterday was a bit crap all round, but luckily he was most crap at the moment that we needed him to be. Yeah, ultimately, if he doesn't handball that, the player is already up in the head in motion. He is going to score the goal. So we would have been conceding anyway. I'd rather just concede that and not take a risk about being sent off. And you know, I know that Mitchell had a tricky patch, but I don't massively understand McIntyre getting into the squad ahead of him. I know that he is left-footed, but I would have had Edwards at left centre-back, which is how we actually changed it to in the second half, and Mitchell at right centre-back, and then obviously TC and Ramsey as wing-backs, because I think that in the air, Mitchell is so much stronger and so much more dominant, and I don't think that on the floor, McIntyre is overly impressive. And he had another ricket, didn't he, straight after that, where he fumbled a back pass back to the keeper and set them on the attack. So yeah, I think it's a bit of a weak link there, but he is somebody that hasn't played a lot of football, so he probably is going to be looking to make mistakes. And luckily for us, it's not one that's massively counted, but definitely one that we got away with yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, Isaac said Mitchell must be gutted not to be in the squad. James says might not need a sub goalie on the bench with McIntyre in the squad. It's nice to see Ash back yesterday, by the way, of course, on the bench. Yeah, a few people asking about Mitchell. Chris says it probably wouldn't have been a red because he wasn't blocking a goal-bound shot with his hand, only a cross. Definitely should have been a yellow, but I guess, I don't know. It's certainly an orange because, I mean, the guy was there at the back post just to head it in. So who knows? But yeah, very, very strange decision. And yeah, it took us a while to settle again after that. I think, in fact, I don't think we did until you get into that second half and Nathan Jones is forced to make that change 5 minutes after the break. We'll hear his sort of explanation of why he did that soon in the interview. But after that, maybe we just gained a little bit more control and we just started creating not many chances, but we had more territory. Small was getting a bit further up the pitch. Then we did have that good chance just before the goal where Godden was so unlucky with his header that come back off the crossbar, and I think it hit the keeper on the back, didn't it? But unlike the one against Huddersfield a few weeks ago, it didn't end up going in. But for all the like, we were doing commentary on Radio London, and they kept saying how can Charlton sort of create more chances? And I said, look, normally the best way is to get the ball out wide. You know, TC's had a bit of a quiet game. Northampton have done quite well against him. Small's starting to get a bit more involved now, maybe. So they just got to try and focus on using the width. And it turns out the best way, Sue, is to pump the ball long, get a big guy to flick it on, and then Matty Godden to put it in the back of the net, which is actually simple, but you know what? It's effective. And well done to Chucks. Great header, very important header for him. And Matty Godden would have put that away if he was still asleep, to be fair. That's just what he does.
Yeah, who knew? Who knew that could happen? Especially ironic because the Northampton fans were making the usual the shout to the keeper as they do, as we do it to their keepers as well. So, yeah, pinpoint pass from Will to Chucks, and then Matty does what he does. It was such a brilliant goal. Like three touches of the ball, and it's in the goal. As simple as you're ever going to get, but also amazing because at the same time, Matty's got to really keep his head. He's got to stay calm to pass that we'll kick it like he did into the goal with the keeper in front of him. But yeah, just I think our subs were really good in that respect yesterday. Like you say, making that early sub, changing the shape and the formation, and we looked a lot more attacking for them subs. And as the game on, it was like, right, he's really going for it. I thought we might have got another one. Yeah, Matty was unlucky with that header that came off the crossbar, but it looked then like we were a bit more in control until, Northampton there was a lot of that time wasting and stuff like that. And then I kept waiting for Nathan to tell Will to go down. Didn't have any of those yesterday, any of those goalie resets. But yeah, it was just such a class goal, that second goal, and it was almost like the whole of the crowd was like, right, we've done it. Like that celebration for that second goal was just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's why my voice is how it is today. Yeah, it's just good. It was so vital, you know, because I spent the entire game with the BBC Sport, all the other scores in front of me. When that goal went in for Bristol Rovers, I think it was before half time. Like, blimey, like, so this is our chance, and we can't waste it. You know, we can't. We would have felt so gutted if Wrexham dropped points and we didn't make the most of it yesterday, Joe, and we did. There was one slightly hairy moment where I think it was Tariq Fosu at the far post had half a chance, but other than that, again, pretty standard for us. I feel like we saw it out relatively comfortably. There was always going to be nerves, but to be fair, I think Mannion did well with a couple of crosses coming out and claiming. There was one that he dropped on the head of the defender, but it was just sort of a bit of traffic there. It wasn't great that we could have done about that. It's just the way it worked out. But overall, yeah, I thought we saw it out comfortably, and it's another massive win. Our home record, by the way, Joe, is an absolute joke now. It's like getting ridiculous how good we are at home. So that is going to pump some fear into any side that's got to come and play us in the semi-finals as well. If that is that.
Yeah, well, especially if we get third or fourth and we're home in the second leg. I did see a little, someone tweeted that 2019 and 1998 we finished on 88 points. Obviously, if we win the last three, we finish on 88 points. So we'll be in a good position there for history repeating itself. But if you look at their XG, I know not everyone likes XG, but I do. Half of their total XG yesterday was the penalty. So we've basically given them half of their most attacking opportunities in the game. Aside from that, they didn't really threaten massively. That one at the back post was probably their actually best chance. And I don't know why it was absolutely rifled across in the way it was. But we do look comfortable off the ball. And especially when you're playing your first choice back five, we do have a little bit of everything in there, because obviously Gillespie does play some decent long balls. Still not going to class him as having a wonderful effort as the Plymouth fans did when we signed him, but he is very useful at those raking balls. And Jones marshalling and Ramsey with his pace and ability to get back on the other side, you just have complete faith. And then Coventry sitting in ahead of them, and I was very, very critical of Coventry when he joined, not least because I was under the impression that was because people thought he was better than Dobbo as he was today. But what we're seeing from him in the second half of this season, I think he's been absolutely sensational. And he does do so much work off the ball. He just has an engine. He goes just on mile-long runs all of the time, chasing every lost cause, and he's so important to the way that we play. So he's going to be an absolutely pivotal player to keep fit for the rest of this run-in. And when all those players are on song, and you've got Doherty in there doing the hard yards, and even Berry, he does put himself about and throw himself into challenges here and there in the air, which for a little lad is difficult. We are a difficult team to then come and break down. And the energy on the press to be doing that at this stage of the season where everyone is knackered, and with a really small squad and a busy fixture schedule, I think you do come and play us and think, right, how are we going to go about this? And the only way to do it, I think, is the way that Leyton Orient and Peterborough did, which is go man to man and hope that you outfinish us. And obviously Leyton Orient, it didn't work for them, and Peterborough it did. And but it's a very, very risky game when you've got the likes of TC and Thierry Small on the other side, able to jink past and create a bit of space and create a bit of magic. So, I think we are in a very good position, and it's nice to have such strong home form, because it creates such a nice atmosphere in the valley. And then for me, it creates a nice atmosphere in the river afterwards, which is always enjoyable, although I'm absolutely knackered today.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, not that people are getting carried away, but there's currently a long conversation in the chat there of people trying to work out how to get from the River Ale House to Wembley. So you're going to be busy on playoff final day if that's what it comes to.
We can organise that for people. Don't worry. We will be open before, if we are in the playoff finals, we'll probably open about 10 and get a special licence for anyone that wants a bit of Dutch courage.
Nice. You could sort out some sort of minibus as well to get everyone there to save this worry about the trains. Right. Let's have a listen to the interview with Nathan Jones after yesterday's game. This is take 2 of the interview. Obviously, I won't play take 1, but it was a disaster. So basically, we were chatting away, and then at one point, Kevin Nolan appeared at the door. At which point, everyone of the Northampton press pack got up and started walking out the door, and it's so loud. It was like, this is really annoying. And Nathan was getting wound up, and then we got through that, and then about a minute later, someone's phone went off, and they didn't know how to turn it off, so it was ringing for like a solid 40 seconds before Nathan was like, very politely just said, "Can we start this again, please?" So that's what we did. But this is take 2 of Nathan's interview with myself after yesterday's win. That secures, at the very least, a playoff place for the Addicts. Nathan, congratulations. Playoffs at a minimum secure today. How do you sum up your feelings?
Look, as I've said, I'm really proud of everyone involved in the football club. We've had to go through some tough times. It's been been tough. We've had to come from where we came from, 18th in League One, not won in 18 games, to where we are now. The work that's gone on in that year has been considerable. The recruitment, the work, the strength that we've had to show, and I'm really proud of everyone.
You always maintain belief, even at those difficult stages earlier on in the season. You must be so proud of the way that your team and your players have dragged you through as well.
I am. And look, we've stuck together. We've believed in what we've done. We've worked religiously. We do good work. Personally, I've had to come through a lot in terms of criticism. The team have, and just to see how we are today, to see a club united, to see that, I'm really, really proud.
Yeah, and no more so than today, where it was a really difficult game. Northampton, a very different side as well to the one that Charlton faced before Christmas. Gave you a good test today.
Everyone gives you a good test, really. They were at the bad in a bad moment. When Kev comes in, he's obviously going to get them working and grafting, and they were a totally different animal today. But we showed we have a number of facets. We tried to play, we tried to think, tried to get momentum. Every time we showed any quality, then we had opportunities. And look, it could have been more. Godden had a great opportunity before he scored. And then, look, we've had to bring on big chucks, and these shows were what a threat he is. And look, we've had to win it a different way, and just really, really proud, because all that matters now is result.
Yeah, and in terms of just one moment of quality, it just needs that flick on from Chuck, and we know what Matty Godden can do.
Well, I knew what he can do. There's a lot of people that didn't. A lot of people that criticised us. A lot of people said he's this, he's that. You won't find a better striker in League One. You will not find a better striker in League One. He's championship quality. He scored everywhere he's been. And, you know, I remember I'd love to see those the comments from back in June and July last year and stuff. But I'm proud of him. I'm proud of Luke Berry. I'm proud of the players, every single one of them, because what we've had to come through. You know, I've had to back myself, I've had to back our staff, I've had to back ourselves. And today we made bold decisions. Straight away made a change after 50 minutes. Should have made it at half time, but I waited, see if we could. We didn't grasp the net the first 5, so made the change. And look, I think we've deserved to win today in terms of the chances we created against a side that's fighting as well.
Yeah, and that change in shape just after the break clearly did have a big effect on that second half.
Well, look, we have to find solutions and to win games, but we give ourselves a good platform. You know, we've missed Maka today. We've really missed Gillespie today with his quality and things, but we couldn't take a risk. The goal we give away is a ridiculous decision. That can't happen. You know, basically that was that. So that's the only disappointment, really, that at times we were sloppy, and we can't give teams an opportunity, and that's what we did today.
Yeah, have you spoken to Tom McIntyre about how that came about?
It's just a poor decision. He didn't get pushed in the bag. He just moment of madness. That's all. And look, Tom's an experienced guy. He knows what he's done. He doesn't need to tell him. But yeah, but let's not think about the negatives too. We've had to show character. We've had to, you know, because it's all, the onus is all on us to win games here at the Valley, and we've kept going. We've made changes. We've changed shape. We've changed personnel, and we've somehow found a way to win.
Yeah, you mentioned that Macaulay Gillespie. Can you just give us some information on him?
Just tight hamstring. So like we've missed him today, just a little tight. So we didn't want to risk him in any way. So no, look, he'll be a lot closer Monday.
Great to see Lloyd Jones back in the side.
Yeah, look, we always want your best players back, and Lloyd's one of them.
Looking ahead to Monday, it's a massive game. Obviously, Wrexham dropped points today. Wycombe with a very good victory away from home, but this is your chance to try and reel them in.
Look, every game, one game as it comes, one game at a time. Take every game as it comes. Big game, but we are absolutely delighted we're in this position, because, as I said, we weren't. Go back to where it was, October, November, and we've had to show quality, character, aggression, athleticism, belief, every single thing you need to achieve something. And I said we're in a good moment.
If you are to get top 2 this season, I think you obviously would have to win on Monday. Does that change your thinking at all going into that game? We have to win all 3 games. We can't draw a game. We can't rely on others. We have to, for us to get promoted, we have to have 88 points minimum, and 88 is the maximum we can get. So we'll have to win all 3.
PSF Steel Limited is a trade supplier of steel fabrication and erection services to the new build, construction and refurbishment market in southern England. With their unrivaled depth of experience, they excel at providing their customers with high quality and cost-effective steel fabrication solutions. Their customers include national and regional house builders such as Barratt Homes, Bellway Homes, the Vistry Group and Taylor Wimpey. They pride themselves on their service-based ethos and commitment to customer service excellence, which includes full technical backup and on-site services and support. If you would like more information, go to www.psfsteel.co.uk. That's www.psfsteel.co.uk.
Hello, fellow addicts. I'm so excited to tell you all about our micropub, the River Ale House. The River Ale House is based in East Greenwich. It has 6 Pub of the Year awards, an ever-changing selection of amazing beer. It's owned by Charlton fans, walkable to the ground in just 20 minutes with buses that go direct to the Valley too. If your matchday routine includes a drink with your friends, you must join your fellow addicts in the river. See you soon.
Right, welcome back to Charlton Live on your Saturday morning. We're looking back at yesterday's 2-1 win against Northampton, which seals, at the very least, a playoff place for the Addicts. We just heard there from the boss, Nathan Jones. Joe, what have you made of his comments? Well, I'll just read out a couple of the comments that came in the chat. So Chris says, life, death, and Nathan Jones bringing up being criticised in the past in every post-match interview where we win. Brazilian says, I don't mind Nathan doing it. Jacob says, if that's what fuels him, then so be it. And then Charlie adds as well, if it motivates him and us to get us out of the league, then go for it. Spam says that he holds vendettas like Arteta. Paul says the comments were being made. He's entitled to say, I told you so. Our last manager would have said nothing with his hands in his pockets. I mean, it's fuel for Nathan Jones, and it seems like it's never-ending fuel. The way that the side were being talked about back in December, that's been in his mind the entirety of this run, clearly.
Yeah, I think he needs to let it go a bit now. Like we're, as a fan base, we're over it. I think we're all very cognizant of where we were and where we've got to, and we're aware of just how remarkable a job that he's done, and he's certainly getting the praise for that as well. I know there's going to be elements of a fan base that are overly critical and potentially step over into abusive language, etc., and he's got every right to have a real be in his bonnet about those sorts of behaviors. But if that's what he needs to fuel him, okay, but I'd like to see more of a sort of a rhetoric that brings us together into a unit as opposed to an us and them mentality, because I don't think it is that kind of environment at the minute. I think everyone is on the Nathan Jones train. There's still things that he does that annoy me and confuse me and baffle me, but football is a game of opinions, and people like certain players and other people don't like certain players, right? So you're never going to get away from that. But I don't think there's been a time sort of recently, Bowyer's and Jacko's, aside, where there's been so much buy-in since the days of Powley, which is obviously a long time ago, and you go back to Curbs before that. So to have this kind of atmosphere and environment and buzz and feel around the place, it'd just be nice for him to drink that in and enjoy some of that sort of cooperation and mutual drive and mutual spirit and happiness together. And I think you always run the risk a little bit if you are sort of saying, well, you were digging me out. And then when it goes wrong again, then fans are going to dig him out again. He kind of needs to have some favour in it, or some sort of something in his pocket, sort of trade in when he needs that. So yeah, it is Nathan Jones. He won't ever be different. He will always be divisive for some of these comments. And some people will love them and some people will hate them. But I think we all go faster and better when we're all pulling in the same direction. And he could be the person that leads that. And Bose was always really good at that. He was always very much, the fans give me everything and they're amazing and bringing you on. And the fans definitely responded to that too.
Yeah, Sam says it's a constant us and them thing for Jones, always mentioning the criticism they had for a couple of months, but let him have it. Whatever he needs to get the motivation for his results. I mean, you've known Nathan a lot longer than most of us do, because obviously you were at the club at the same time he was there the first time. I mean, has he always been? I've always found like he the way he sort of motivates himself is quite interesting. He's so driven, and sometimes that seems to come out in some of his interviews. Has he always been like this? Has this always been the way he sort of generates, as Jeremy says, sort of like a siege mentality?
Yeah, I think he's one of those. He's like almost like you're going into battle for every game, and I think in that. Some of his comments, and I understand why people think he goes too far sometimes, but I think he is that, like, almost like that father figure looking after his boys and sort of like, we're going to do this as a unit. We are going to do this. He's always had that same passion, dedication, motivation. And I think even when he was a player, he was a tough player to play against when he was at Yeovil. He's always had that sort of really strong mentality and belief in himself, which you need to have a manager. You need to have confidence in yourself. And I think I was talking to someone about it yesterday. I think it's right now that he's coming back, because how many people absolutely battered him about, letting Alfie May go just because you got some sort of personal issue with each other. Whatever happened, I don't know. But look at Matty Godden. Like, he's been unbelievable for us. So it's all right. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but I think and I think this is football fans all the world over. We're all very quick to judge. We don't have the patience to just go, okay, let's just give him a chance. Let's just see what happens. And it's just, I think he does use criticism as one of his motivators, and it does come out sometimes after a game to say, like, you know what, you didn't believe in me, but look what I'm doing, almost. But a lot of fans have already said, let him do it. Let him do it. If that's what works, let him do it. But yeah, he's going back to your question, Louis. Yeah, he's out without the football head on. He's a very sort of calm, gentle person, but the football head is very much like very focused, dedicated, ambitious, wants to get the best out of his team, but himself as well. So he's an amazing man, and I would never praise him up enough. He's up there for me with people like Jacko and Pally.
I guess you don't get anywhere in a football career without battling against the odds at some point. You know, particularly like it's I don't know whether it's to say whether it's easier or harder for someone who's had like a, you know, look at the jobs that Wayne Rooney kept getting. Look at the jobs that Lampard's been getting. Although it sounds like he's done all right at Cov, but you know, he didn't. Nathan didn't have that career. He didn't have that top level footballing career. So to actually go and then carve out a managerial career without that reputation behind you as a player, you're battling against the odds immediately. So maybe that's just the way he's always seen it. Like this is me. I've got to drag myself up here. You know, no one's going to help me, and that's it seems to be the sort of mentality he goes through the season with. Right, Dudley says, I love that he's given it back to everybody who doubted him, me included. He's put a spring in my step for sure, and at my age, that's a bonus in being the best version of myself. Michael says he loves it. Alex says Nathan has every right to mention it. Saw a YouTube short about May leaving, and everyone was slating the decision and mocking Godden. Well, so I haven't seen that one, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I was looking back at our pod from the first. We were right actually. I was quite pleased with that. I was like, right, it weren't us, but I was curious to see what we said because it was a big decision at the time. But yeah, Matty Godden scored goals throughout his career and continues to do so. Sam says, I think he holds the criticism close, as Sue just said. Some of our fans questioned his decisions and wanted him gone in December. Just look at the job he's doing now. Right, let's hear from the man who we've just been discussing there. Matty Godden scored again yesterday, scores most weeks, it feels like. This is what he had to say after we sealed our place as a minimum in the playoffs. Playoffs secured as a minimum today. How do you feel after that?
Yeah, it was important. Just like last week, we knew it was going to be a tough game with them in their league position. I don't know if they're safe now, but yeah, it was always going to be a tough game, a battle, and we wasn't at our best. Got off to a good start, but then wasn't at our best. But at this stage of the season, it's all about the 3 points. Yeah, I know obviously nothing's won yet or anything like that, but to achieve playoffs at this stage, I mean, how pleased are you with how this season's gone? Yeah, I think we need to really take in and celebrate what we've done since the start of December, really, because we all know how tough it was before December, and we wasn't where we'd hoped to be, and but the run that we've been on has been incredible, and we've enjoyed every minute of it, and it's nice to give the fans something to follow us for and shout about. How easy was it to keep the belief back then in December? Because it would have taken something incredibly special, which is obviously what you guys have achieved to get to the playoffs. Yeah, it just shows what sort of characters and what sort of boys we've got in the dressing room. That we work so hard every day. The gaffer demands so much from us, and we knew that if we clicked and we all believed and gelled as one, then it was possible to go on the sort of run that we've been on. And yeah, we're on it and we're enjoying it. We've achieved the playoffs, like you said, but we're going to try and go all the way and push everyone. Yeah, I mean, obviously you were playing, but I was spent most of the time looking at the other scores as well, because it is important at this stage. Did you check them as soon as you come off the pitch to see that the Wrexham dropped points? Obviously, Wycombe got a very good victory. Yeah, no, I didn't know what was going on at all. I don't get much signal here on my phone, to be honest, but the lads did say that teams around us had dropped points, and so yeah, it just makes it exciting, and that's what we want to be in part of football for.
Talk us through today's game as well. I mean, Northampton clearly a very different animal to the one we faced just before Christmas. So Kevin's obviously done a very good job there and made it very difficult today. Yeah,
it was. Yeah, we knew it was going to be. We knew they facing a completely different side to what we faced back in December, and it was one of those games that we just had to do anything we could to win the game, and we got off to a really good start and then conceded a poor goal. But yeah, they seemed to get a bit of a foothold in the game. It wasn't really us, but we all know that when we're in the second half, when we're attacking the covered end, it makes a huge difference, and we know that we're going to come strong second half, and we did again today.
All it takes is one moment. It was a great flick on from Chucks, and you were alive to it.
Yeah, I was just anticipating. It's a bit different when Chucks comes on, because I'd then turn into the one that tries to gamble, and I like the battle and trying to bring players into play. But when Chucks comes on, my role changes, and I just gamble and anticipate that he's going to win the flick on, and he did. And yeah, it was nice to see the ball at the back of the net.
20,000 here today, and the atmosphere was really special. Or what did you make of that?
Yeah, incredible. We knew it was going to be a big crowd, and we just wanted to get the 3 points for them. Really, they've stuck by us, and we know that we're going to take 2 sold out away ends now in the next 2 games, and that's important as well. And we can't thank them enough. Really, they make such a difference to us, especially second half when we're attacking our end, and it just showed that, especially today.
With the playoffs secured now, and obviously still hopes of a top 2 finish, you know you probably have to win all 3 of them. And how does that sort of affect you in terms of pressure?
No, not at all. Because the reason why is because we know the position that we was in before Christmas. We can't take that there's any pressure. We've enjoyed being in this moment, and it's got us to where we are now. So we just need to go out there in the next 3 games and give it absolutely everything. We've got obviously the playoffs are secure, but we'll go out there and give it absolutely everything for the 3 games and see where that takes us.
Yeah, it was a really impressive win for Wycombe today up at Bolton as well. They've had a really good season themselves. What sort of challenge are you expecting on Monday?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, probably bit different to today, but it's one that you don't need to get yourself up for games like that. That's why you want to be involved in football, and it's one that I'm sure the gaffer's going to get us right up for, and we're going to enjoy the game.
There we go. That's Matty Godden speaking to myself after the win yesterday. Very level-headed. Been a magnificent player for us this season. 18 goals in all comps. Well done, Matty Godden, for that finish yesterday. Right, I think we should spend a little while looking ahead to Wycombe, and more importantly, what needs to happen between now and the end of the season. So let's have a little looky at this little thing I've chucked together for you guys here. So this is a rundown of what needs to happen. So as Nathan Jones said in his interview yesterday, we have to get 88 points. I think for anything to be realistic, we have to get 88 points. So that would be 3 wins, unless maybe something a bit unrealistic happens, which is that basically the other 2 teams lose all of their games. In which point we'd only need 85 points. So I've put together, for those of you watching on YouTube, literally just a list of the fixtures, just so we can see. So we're currently on 79 points. We've currently got a goal difference of plus 21. Wycombe are currently in seconds. They're on 84 points. They've currently got a goal difference of plus 32. So that's quite a big jump in terms of goals. So that's why I think, obviously, if we were to win games and they were to lose games, they would get tighter. But I think realistically, to have any hope of us finishing above either of these sides, it has to be on points. I don't think we can rely on goal difference. Wrexham currently on 83 points. They're on 27, so 6 goals ahead of us. So maybe that could change slightly. So I've put in results here, Sue. I've put us down as winning all 3. So that means that Wycombe, obviously, in their first fixture, which is us at home for them, they will lose. In their second fixture, they're away at Leyton Orient. Let's say they win that game. That would take them up to 87 points, which means they would have to lose at home against Stockport on the final day, because if they drew that game, they would go up to 88 points. Goal difference would knacker us there. So they have to they have to lose one game, or the other option is they draw both games. So that would leave them at 86 points. So they could draw both games as long as we beat them. That'd be fine. If they draw one game and win one game, they'll be on 88. That'd be too much for us. So that's how we can beat Wycombe. We need them to either drop points in both games after losing to us, or to draw or to win one game and to lose one game. Wrexham, obviously a point behind them. So they will have to lose to us in the middle game. That's what we have to hope happens. If they go to Blackpool and win, but then only draw with Lincoln, but we've won all three of our games, then that will be fine for us. So actually, we only need Wrexham, outside of losing to us, to drop points once, either away at Blackpool or at home to Lincoln. If they win both their games, obviously they'll finish above us. If they draw at Blackpool and then beat Lincoln, but we beat them and win our other games, then they'd be on 87. So that is how it can happen. So that, when you look at that and you're down to 3 games for each side, one of which is against us, so therefore we have an element of destiny in our own hands. We don't actually need that much from other teams. We just need Blackpool to do a job on Wrexham. we just need one of Orient or Stockport to do a job on Wycombe, or maybe both of them just to get a decent point, which they're more than capable of. Like, all of a sudden, it feels really realistic again now. All we got to do is win 3 games, and then we're giving ourselves the best possible chance.
Yeah, just got to keep doing what we've been doing, winning games. And again, like, it's so hard, isn't it? Because we all were doing it yesterday with our phones, like when we could get a signal, looking at, right, okay, so who's in what position? Are you constantly checking the table, right? What's going on elsewhere? And it's horrible to have that, because we always say, just got to focus on ourselves, We can't control what happens outside of us. But then, like, when you then see, like, I think Wrexham were losing at one point and Wycombe were drawing, and it was like, oh my God, like, we could do it. So it makes it so exciting. I can't remember a time, even in like the previous promotion seasons when we've gone up in the playoffs, I can never remember feeling this excited about at the end of a season, because of how tight it is. But yeah, I think I'm reading the comments in the chats as well, and it's like, anyone's capable of slipping up, but equally anyone's capable of winning all 3 games. I mean, that can't happen with us 3, because obviously, as you say, Wycombe and Wrexham have got to play us. But it's completely in our hands. We've just got to focus on us, do our thing, be the best version of ourselves, do the basics right. And even if we grind out 1-0 wins for all 3 of those games, I don't care. It's just, yeah, we could do it. We could do it.
How realistic is this then, Joe? So I would have put my mortgage on Wrexham beating Bristol Rovers yesterday, and then I would have gone to the bank and asked for another mortgage to also put on Wrexham beating Bristol Rovers yesterday, because I thought that was an absolute certainty. I could not see Wrexham not beating Bristol Rovers yesterday, and yet they didn't. You know, Wycombe, you're waiting for them to slip up, and they're not really. They've won their last 3 without conceding, you know, but they've got to play us, you know, and then they've got to play Orient, who, to be fair, you know, Richie Wellens is up for Manager of the Year as well. Yesterday was one of the most amazing games of the season, with the way they came back against Barnsley and won 4-3. And they've got to go to a Stockport side, who are a really tricky side to play against. So it's possible. Like, it's possible that this can happen. James says if we win all 3, we're going up. He thinks it can happen. You know, Alan says 1 slip up, we've gone for a Burton on the last day. Let's just not do that. Let's just win our games and see where we land.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that the opportunity is there. Ironically, for Wrexham and Wycombe, if we beat Wycombe on Monday and then Wrexham don't beat Blackpool, all of a sudden there are going to be squeaky backsides all across Wycombe and Wrexham, because they are going to be looking at it going, okay, now we're in and amongst it, and now we actually need to go and do something special in the last 2 games to ensure that we don't let Charlton in the back door. And Wycombe and Wrexham, they're difficult games to win, right? But if you want to be second, they're games that you've got to win. Simple as that. And that would be if we had 30 games left or 3. So Orient are currently level on points with Reading in 7th. Is between one of them 2 for the playoffs. So they're not going to be going into that game with any confidence. They could be going into that game with the opportunity really to seal their position, because they've got a very superior goal difference. And Blackpool and Lincoln are technically both on the beach, but luckily for us, Blackpool right next to the beach, so they don't have long to come back to get back to the stadium. So there's definite positives there, and we all also know that in the lights of Blackpool and Lincoln, as we've seen this season, they are teams that can turn up and put in a good performance. So there's going to be twists and turns. You know, I've been saying for a long time that I thought Wycombe would come 5th in the league because of their running, and they've far exceeded my expectations with the run that they've been on. But that does mean I'm sort of waiting for them to slip up, and I hope it's 2 consecutive games. The next 2 games they get nothing out of, and we're going into it. But regardless, if we look after ourselves in the next 2 games, we should be going into the last game of the season, in theory, with a chance of going up. And we all know how dramatic that last day of the season can be. I might need a fair few beers before the game to keep calm, but I just hope there's something riding on that going into that last game, because that could just be a monumentous sort of celebration at the end if we do that. And I really hope I get to hear Nathan Jones telling us how stupid we all are because we've gone up automatically at the start of May.
Right, I've just finally, I've updated the spreadsheet for what would be the funniest way for us to go up, which is for us to win our next 2 games, Wycombe and Wrexham to lose all of their games, and then but us lose at home to Burton. But that would be enough anyway, as long as they lost all their games and we won our next 2. Wycombe on Easter Monday, so I mean it's huge. It's interesting. Is the pressure on us or is the pressure on them? Because we've got nothing to lose now. We're sorted for playoffs, right? We are done for playoffs. The likelihood is, like, everyone else will be looking at that table thinking, well, China got a chance, but it's unlikely. We're looking at it thinking, right, all we've got to do is win our next 2 games and then lose. But the pressure's not on us, is it? Like the pressure's on Wycombe now. I think we go there and we do what we got to do. They've got something in their grasp to lose. Also, with Wrexham breathing down their neck. This is interesting from Chris. Chris said Wrexham drawing actually better for us than a loss yesterday. It means Wycombe have to play for a win on Monday, giving us a better chance. And if we win all 3, Wrexham still need to win 2 out of their other 2 games. Like the fact that Wrexham picked up a point means that Wycombe can't rest on their laurels and go for a draw or anything tomorrow.
Yeah, I think, and again, I was chatting to someone about this yesterday. The pressure is on the other 2 teams because they're expected to get that second place, because it's been between the 2 of them pretty much most of the season, hasn't it? So I think we're the sort of still going under the radar slightly. So that goes in our favour. And like you say, we've got nothing to lose. Like, we're already buzzing off our nuts that we're in the playoffs. So if that's the way we go up, that's the way we go up. But we're happy with that, because you say earlier in the season, we were like, just please let us even get a mid-table finish. So I think, the pressure is definitely on both of those. And we just got to just ignore the noise, do our thing, and just, not worry about them, because it's all on the expectation of Wycombe and Wrexham beating us, and like we've already shown, we're capable of beating anyone.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, Buddy's saying, can Stockport still get mathematically autos? Yeah, but I mean, realistically, I know I've done the jokey one at the end there, but if we win all 3 games, Stockport can't finish above us because they're below us at the moment. So that's why they've been discounted in this thing, because realistically, I think we're saying if we're going to do it, it's got to be 3 wins. out of 3 for us. Right, we've run out of time. I haven't had a chance to read some of the emails, but I noticed McSquared's in there sort of talking how pleased he was with yesterday's performance. So I'll have a read of that myself after the show. But yeah, massive thanks to everyone who's joined us on this Easter Saturday morning. Hope you've enjoyed the show. The Addicts are certain of at least a playoff place. We still have a chance of getting in the top 2. Let's see if we can achieve that between now and the end of the season. Right, don't forget, check out our merch store, charltonlive.etsy.com, if you want to pick up a Charlton Live mug. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, and wherever you see the podcast, just hit subscribe. You'll never miss another show. I imagine there'll be some pretty interesting shows between now and the end of the season. Joe and Sue, been an absolute pleasure as always this morning.
Yeah, brilliant.
Always fun talking about wins.
Always is, and it's always fun talking about the side achieving something, which is what we've done. We're in the playoffs at a minimum. Who knows what will happen between now and the end of the season. Right, massive thanks to everyone who's joined us. I'm Louis Mendes. This has been Charlton Live, sponsored by PSF Steel Limited. We'll be back on Thursday, is the current plan, which will be a look back at the Wycombe game and a look ahead to the game against Wrexham. Christ, these are big games, aren't they? Look forward to seeing you then. See you later.